So there you have it. Final part of my first active imagination story. My bigger story is coming up. I'm still working on it. At some point, I will be releasing it. I'm thinking about releasing one part of it that is, an encounter with a high priestess, which sort of is a very good um, summation of the story. It has like a lot of the vital pieces all sort of distilled into that part of the story. Anyhow, so this has been amazing fun for me. I think anyone who is in a state in their lives right now who is struggling and suffering, you know I would give this, do some research into active imagination writing. Just sort of sit quietly and, invite, sort of like literally ask your unconscious to reveal what it wants to reveal, and then just sort of sit and wait and see what images, come to your mind. And then, just write them. Just start writing, and you'll become more and more fluid, as you, gain more and more facility and mastery and practice, through doing this. And, the person that you will transform into, might surprise you. I mean, I can't, guarantee any success with that, but, because, I do many things that, have, I've been on a long journey of doing many things that have improved my life. And, active imagination happens to be one of them. And I think, it's definitely something, definitely something worth doing. Also, meditation is great, dancing is great, art, music, playing instruments. I do all these things. Writing poetry. I've been writing poetry for a long time. That is also another great way of accessing your unconscious. By doing creative acts, you're sort of accessing the right part of hemisphere of your brain, which is more in tune with, I would call it more like the God brain. The left brain is the language brain, and that's sort of the brain that we've been conditioned to exist in, um, by the world, and is like what people have decided. That's the lens through which most people nowadays view the world through. But this is not really where meaning exists. This is where questions exist. This is sort of like the left part of the brain is where we um the left part of the brain is sort of like where we is sort of like a table where we take the things, the totality of things, and we sort of like spread them out, and then we like look at them. But there's no, there's not a whole lot of feeling there. So I would say that, what is the meaning of life? The meaning of life exists within feeling. Feeling is, for human beings, that is how we experience meaning. So by trying to find meaning in a feelingless void that is the left part of our brain, what we end up doing is, creating a very dull existence that, and then we wonder, like, why is life so meaningless? Well, life is not meaningless. Life is meaningful when you learn to be who you are within your feelings. And, the word brain, this, more scientific part of the brain, is not a bad thing. It serves a purpose. And, it's simply a matter of, placing too much priority on this part of your head. You want to live here on the right part of your head. You want to live in your heart. You want this entire thing to be integrated, and you'll, in the process, you'll discover, that you're more than, who you've, this persona that you've fashioned for the world is not who you are. That's who you are, so that you can get along in the world, so that people, that because you're, been taught that being yourself is dangerous, and, perhaps for a good reason. But at some point, we need to take a step back, when we become adults, and take responsibility for who we are, and we need to reintegrate with a greater part of ourselves, and then we need to start living, more from our hearts, and less from the brain itself. But still, together, integrated, the whole thing. Let the whole thing work together. Don't shun any part of yourself. It all exists as one, within you. Anyhow, so that's sort of the message that I want to leave the story on. I hope you guys have enjoyed this. Good luck on your journey through integration and becoming a more whole human being. I think people get caught up in these you know things that they call enlightenment or whatever. I mean, that enlightened being enlightened is simply just being a healthy person. So it's not as difficult, and it's not some thing that exists somewhere in some other realm. It's something that we can all achieve. This is by being a human being, a full, complete human being. All right, thank you guys. Have a good one.